Hello, my name is Chef Nathan Geiner and welcome to Cooking with the Chef. This show is about taking your simple, fine dishes that you may go to Olive Garden or a big steakhouse or a restaurant or even Kroger's to get foods and not know how to prepare them. I'm going to show you today how to make chicken Alfredo fettuccine, basically by taking simple ingredients and putting them together to make a nice, creamy, delicious chicken Alfredo. So please sit back, enjoy the show, take notes, and I hope to see you eat soon. Welcome back to Cooking with the Chef. So like I said before, we're going to do chicken fettuccine Alfredo. It's absolutely one of my favorite dishes to do. It's a very classic dish from Italy. You see it in Olive Garden and a lot of other places, even Kroger in the frozen section. But like I said, today we're going to make it fresh from scratch. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with boiling our pasta of fettuccine. We can make fresh fettuccine, absolutely. But what I did was went to the Kroger's and got the regular dry pasta in a box. So you yourself can go to Kroger's and get the same thing that I received. So we have our boiling water here, and the key about boiling pasta is that you want your water to taste like the sea. A lot of people ask me all the time, what's the ratio of salt you put in your water? And it's really not a ratio, it's really the taste of it. So what I went ahead and did is got water in here, and I put salt in, I tasted it, it tastes like the sea. And now we have it boiling. We'll go ahead and drop our pasta in. Like so. And then we will, while that's boiling, and one thing you always want to remember when you're boiling pasta is you always want to keep it moving, okay? Because you don't want the pasta to stick together and have lumps. You ever had them lumps before and you was making spaghetti at home and all the pasta stuck together? That's because you didn't move it around. As soon as you drop it in, you want to stir your pasta up and make sure it's not sticking. Once you've moved it around quite a bit, you can go ahead and let it boil. This may take anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. You want to taste it, and I'm going to tell you how to check to see if it's done in just a little bit. And no, I'm not going to tell you to throw it on the cabinet or anything like that. All right. So, and meanwhile, we're going to cook our chicken, and we're going to start our Alfredo sauce. So the key thing about searing chicken is you want a hot pan and hot fat. Okay, and a fat can be your oil, which we're using today. We're using a basic olive oil. Or it can be bacon grease or any kind of Crisco, any of your favorite fats. All right. So we have a hot pan here. We'll go ahead and put a little bit of oil in here. We'll actually go ahead and put some oil in our saucepan in the back here, which we're going to make our Alfredo sauce in there. Okay. We're going to let that pan heat up and get real hot, and we'll start cleaning our garlic. Alright, now you may get this garlic clove at Kroger's and you may not know how to clean it necessarily, or it might be hard, or it might just be confusing. So if so, you can always get garlic that's already cleaned for you, garlic cloves, and you can even get it minced already, which is called garlic and water, is what they call it in the store. So I went ahead and got both today because I wanted to show you how to clean the garlic clove versus just getting one that's already peeled. Basically what I found to make this more successful for me is I take the garlic clove and I cut it directly in half, peel the outer leaves off, and then slowly break some cloves off. Once you have your cloves broken off here, smash it down with your knife and peel the garlic out. Obviously you can tell what part's the garlic and what part is the shell. Once you have that done, you can go ahead and mince your garlic. Alright, now what we want to do is we're going to add a little bit of garlic to our pans here. Now in this pan, the garlic's sweating down, it's breaking down a little bit. Now you can go ahead and hit it with your chicken. And let that sear, and let it sear nice. Now if you have a screen at home to catch the oil, it always helps to catch that oil in the back, alright? Now back here is where your sauce is going to be. We're going to get some heavy cream, which I got right on the shelf at Kroger's. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit that pan with the cream. Alright, you pour the cream in there, you're going to let that come to simmer. Now what you want to do is you want to turn that down a little bit on your cream. I prefer to put it on low and kind of let that heat up slowly. You want to watch your chicken and turn it over when it's ready to be turned over. And all we're going to do is mark this chicken. Alright? We're gonna make sure that each side of the chicken is nice and golden brown. Then we're gonna go ahead and pull her off. All right. Now, meanwhile, we have our pasta, and now let's check her to see if she's done. In a restaurant term, they'll call it al dente. In our kitchen, we say, "Is it done yet?" And one way is to either break it open. If you look in the very center, you'll see little white lines. If you have a little white line in the very center of the pasta, that means it's al dente, it's ready to go. But to make it easier for you, get the pasta out and go ahead and bite on it, okay? If it's to your liking, then it's done. This can actually go just a little more. We'll go ahead and check our chicken. Back in a couple more minutes, we'll turn it in the oven. Our Alfredo sauce is back here, heating up. Now, meanwhile, we can go ahead and we can clean our fresh basil. Fresh basil you can get at Kroger's or any supermarket in your location. It's over in the produce aisle. I've always seen all grocery stores that carry it, so you shouldn't have a problem finding it. Now, what we want to do is we want to do something that's called chiffonade, actually. But basically, it's chopping the basil really fine, so we can use it for our sauce, and we're also going to use it for garnishing as well. So you want to cut it nice and thin. You see I rolled it up, and now I'm cutting it nice and thin, okay? And then you have perfectly cut basil, nice and fresh and thinly cut, so it's easy to eat. Alright, so our chicken's about done, our pasta's there. Now we're going to focus on our sauce, alright? When I was a chef in Vegas at the Palms, I was something called a saucier. And what that is what you did all day long is you made soups and sauces. I did that a lot. I took leftover stuff and I turned it into soup or I turned it into sauce. So I'm really, really, really big on sauces, okay? So this is an Alfredo sauce. And for you foodies that are at home, this is a bechamel. It's one of the mother sauces. This is a bechamel that we're taking and we're going to turn into hollandaise. If you don't know what that is, you can either inbox me or Google it. I'll explain it to you, okay? So anyways, we have our sauce here. Our heavy cream that we started off is warming up nicely. And we had a little bit of garlic in there. Now we're going to hit it with some salt and pepper, which I have here, a little salt and pepper mix. And you want to stir it. If it starts to foam up a little bit, like it wants to run over, just shut her down. That means the creams get nice and warm. And then what you want to do is you want to add Parmesan cheese. And I'm adding grated Parmesan cheese. And the grated Parmesan cheese you can find at your local store, Kroger's, Great Scott, or wherever's close by. So you want to go ahead and add your Parmesan cheese. And this really, people always ask me about ratios on how much cheese you want to add them. It's really up to you. Do you like your real cheese? Do you not like your real cheese? I personally love cheese, so I add a little more cheese to it. So I add 1/4 cream. And I'm probably going to add about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of grated Parmesan cheese. So you want to keep stirring it as you add the cheese because you need that Parmesan to melt. You don't want it to fall at the bottom of your pan and then it burns, alright? So keep stirring, keep whisking as she's going. And you'll see it starting to thicken up and stuff as you add the cheese. The cheese will help thicken it up as well too. You shouldn't have too much of an issue. Now if you're making a huge batch of sauce, you'd want to do something else called a roux, which you'll start in your beginning with your butter and flour. But if you're making just a small batch for 4 or 5 people like I am today, you can just warm your cream up, hit it with your garlic, hit it with the cream, hit it with Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper, and you should be good to go. Alright, so this is thickened up pretty nice actually. Add a little more cheese, and she's going to be there. Once you add your cheese and you get it there and you get the cheese melted, shut the heat off. I've always been told in different places that I've been a chef at, I always told my employees, the heat's your friend, not your enemy. You can control the heat, okay? So once you have it heated up here, she's looking good, shut it off. We're gonna go ahead and hit it with some fresh rosemary. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of fresh basil. And we're gonna hit it with a little bit of green onion. And we want to stir. Now's the fun part, and you get to taste. So taste your sauce and see if it's at your liking. That's good right there. The only thing I suggest is a little salt and pepper. Don't be scared of salt and pepper. Here's a little salt and pepper. And your sauce is officially done. Now one thing you'll do is make sure you move it completely off the heat so you don't keep cooking it, okay? Now we're going to swing right behind me and we're going to grab the chicken and see how the chicken's looking. She's looking good. She's nice and golden brown. She's ready to come off. So we'll bring her over here and we'll slice her for our fettuccine. Alright, our chicken's cut. It's cut beautifully. You see I cut it at an angle. That's actually called an Asian biased. You want your knife about a 45-degree angle and you want to slice it nice and thin, real thin pieces. So we went ahead and cut our chicken. Now our pasta's in the sink. We're going to grab some pasta for our dish. Alright, so we have our pasta in here. It's still hot, as you can tell. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off that or not. So now we're going to ladle some sauce in there, okay? How much sauce you want to add, it's up to you. And imagine how much sauce you like on your pasta. I personally just like to coat my pasta. I don't like it really overwhelmed with sauce, but I do like it to coat the pasta well, okay? So now we have our sauce in there. We have a little bit of pasta. Now we're going to hit it with a little more basil, a little more rosemary. We're going to hit it with a little more green onions, and we're going to hit it tomatoes. If you go back and remember I said that cooking, you can kind of deviate to what you like. Tomatoes classically are not in chicken fettuccine alfredo, but I love tomatoes. I like the acidity, I like the pop and the coldness with that pasta. So we went ahead and added that grape tomatoes that you can get at Kroger's or anywhere. We cut them in half, and we went and added to our pasta. It gives us another balance, and also a vegetable, right? So we have our plate here. Somebody's waiting patiently to eat, so we kind of do want to kind of hurry up here. So we have our fettuccine. We want to mix it up real well. Make sure your sauce is coated and everything real well, okay? Stir everything up real well. And then you can go ahead and it's time to eat. The leftover tomatoes and stuff that are in the bottom, just put directly on top. Scrape all the goodness right there on the plate. Dirty tongs there. And if you're a cheese person, we're gonna finish with a little more cheese. All right, and right there is a classic chicken fettuccine alfredo with a little tomato and a little rosemary. And here's our chicken fettuccine, and I hope you guys enjoy because it's amazing. Chicken's nice and moist. The sauce is beautiful. Pasta's cooked perfectly. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. And I cook a dish that good. That's amazing. And I made it, but it is amazing. I hope you guys go home and make this for your friends and families. Again, thanks for joining Cooking with the Chef. I hope to see you again on the next episode. Have a good night.